pending trade call, at least as of this recording, Evgeny Kuznetsov is now a part of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Yeah.
Of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's so weird to say.
It is, especially for a team that needs scoring. It seems like they're going to be able to manage doing that. But first, we got to tell you about Buy Optimizers. This is your sleep breakthrough. If you're looking for sleep tonight because you've been jacked up all day,
Please give me some.
buyoptimizers.com/dangle. Use that promo code dangle during checkout to save 10%. So the full deal is this. Evgeny Kuznetsov, who was waived earlier this week, is being traded to the Carolina Hurricanes for a 2025 third-round pick. Washington will retain 50% on Kuznetsov deal, $7.8 million. Cut in half is $3.9 million. So the Carolina Hurricanes get Kuznetsov for the end of this year and next year at $3.9 million. Seems like a really good price to pay for a guy that A, needed to change their scenery, and B, can help alleviate some of that scoring pressure that we've seen on the Carolina Hurricanes along with Jake Guentzel.
Honestly, I love that deal for all involved. I really do. He was making $7.8 million. Well, he still is, actually. He gets paid in full. But he was $7.8 million against the cap for the Capitals. Even if they send him to the minors, that's a relief of like, I don't know, the 0.8. Maybe a little. It's a little bit more than that. It's in the neighborhood of $1 million. Do they pay him $3.9 million to play for a divisional rival all of next year? Yes. The other option was have him play for the Hershey Bears for $7.8 million.
He did travel to Charlotte, by the way. He was ready to play tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I believe it. And Charlotte, ironically, where the Hurricanes farm team either plays or played. It's difficult to keep track of because in the AHL, they move all the time.
The Hurricanes don't have a farm team this year.
Well, then, that's even worse.
That's
it?
right.
Yes.
Isn't that wild?
Yes, they used to have the Checkers. Anyway, I love it from Washington's perspective. A lot of people are going to say that's a steep price to pay. The other option was worse. Carolina, on the other hand. So we know the struggles this player has had. He's been in the assistance program. If you just look at on ice and what they're paying for. So this year, 6 goals, 17 points in 43 games. That's not good enough. And he would tell you that it's bad. It's bad, but given what we know he's been going through, it's a little bit more understandable. Last year in 81 games, 12 goals, 43 assists, so he's a playmaker, 55 points. Is that a $7.8 million player? Absolutely not. Is that a $3.9 million player?
Yes.
For sure. Now, he was an abysmal minus 26. That's pretty bad.
But that's the Capitals, and they weren't great.
Yes, and then the previous year, he had 24 goals, 78 points. Like, this is going to be a road back. Like, I don't know if he immediately heads to the Hurricanes and completely lights it up, but this is a worthwhile bet for the Hurricanes to take.
Jesse, when you look at what Washington gets here, okay, the fact that they got anything at all, does that surprise you, given that this player was waived?
I honestly thought that Kuznetsov would just have to sit in the minors, and then maybe after a full off season, you bring him back up and you try and you see what you got for $7 million, and they would just have to eat the money. I didn't think that somebody would take him, but knowing now that it's 50% retained, it makes a lot more sense, and there's a path back for a $3 million player. You can put him into your lineup for that price.
Your options were $7.8 million for nothing or $3.9 million for a third. They took the obvious choice.
I have some stats for you, and again, this is it feels weird to say the Washington Stanley Cup was so long ago, but it was, man. It was. But I have some stats in the 24 games that the Washington Capitals played on the road to the Stanley Cup. This is a player that had 12 goals and 20 assists.
He was unbelievable, and maybe the most iconic goal of the run. With the overtime winner, the series winner against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
What do you say about experience and especially on the offensive side of the puck, generation of opportunities? And what I mean by that is Carolina, especially in the Florida series, kind of got hemmed in by the lack of offensive opportunities they were given. Right? They just couldn't score enough. They did have some injuries going into last year's playoffs too, which I think people forget. That really severely hampered them. But I think what's interesting about a guy like Kuznetsov is that he has the brain and the intelligence and the experience to do things that Carolina couldn't necessarily do before, which is constantly generate opportunities when they're out there. If he gives you 5 or 6 more opportunities a game, heck, even if he gives you 3 more opportunities a game, that's 3 more chances to bury it. And this is a playmaker.
You ever seen Rod the Bod without a shirt?
I don't think I have, actually.
You haven't seen Rod the Bod playing Frisbee at BMO Field?
Oh, yes, during the pandemic.
Who hasn't seen that? You know, that slow-mo video. It's slow. He's gonna be shirtless a lot more often now, because he's gonna be on his surfboard, because he's gonna send the Hurricanes at you in waves, dude.
Do you like that, Jesse? By the way,
Aho. It took a while to get there, but I got there. I got there.
No, go ahead.
I got there. Aho, Svechnikov, Teravainen, Natchez, Jordan Staal, Jesper Fast, and Seth Jarvis is in there too. Stefan Nason, extremely underrated, and they haven't even added Jake Gensel to the cap-friendly list there. Mm-hmm. So you add Gensel and Kotkaniemi for the price of what?
Kuznetsov, not Kotkaniemi.
Sorry, my bad. They have Kotkaniemi. It's 2 K names. Yeah. They have Gensel and Kuznetsov added at bargain bin prices. This is an enormous win for the Hurricanes. I really like it for them.
If you're a Hurricanes fan, you watch a bunch of Hurricanes game this year, one thing you constantly yell at your TV is Jack Drury is your second line center. Like it was a ridiculous way to go about a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations. And Rod Brind'Amour last week spoke about how he was happy with their group there, and Hurricanes fans yelled back at him, but Jack Drury is our second line center. What the fuck are you doing? And I think if Kuznetsov can just regain some of that form and he's happy playing center, right there's your second line center, and you have Jordan Staal and Drury and Kotkaniemi to fill out the other 2 center spots, and you have a solidified lineup there if Kuznetsov is back to his old form.
Not the greatest face-off winner, but it might not matter with team defense like the Carolina Hurricanes have.
What's going to be really big for Carolina is 2:00. Brendan Lemieux is on waivers today. I think there's a greater than 0% chance someone takes him because he's a jerk. And this is the time of year where jerks come at a premium. And Tony DeAngelo, who's only, I think he's a hair under 1.7 million. I think there's a chance he gets claimed as well. So there could be some relief there for this team.
So a very surprising move, and really great value back for a player that needed a change and a team that needs a new direction in the Washington Capitals. 3rd round pick, Washington, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Carolina, go into the playoffs. I bet 24 hours ago he could have never imagined this.